friends, my name is Joey Balestrieri. Welcome to my channel. It is so exciting because we are heading into fall, full steam ahead, and the bead companies are on board with beautiful autumnal color palettes and collections. And so this is actually my second project officially for kicking off fall. I did a fall leaf and I lost the word for herringbone wrap bypass ring video this morning, and then I went to the mail and my curated bead box is here for the month, and it is called Woodland Wonderland. And I have to say, it's really exciting because there are 3 strands of gemstone beads in this box. It's pretty classic autumnal colors, but it's really good. So what I'm going to do is dive right into the unboxing and do it pretty quickly, show you what's here. They did a great job mixing metals this month, and I love that. And I am going to clean up, pause, and make a project. I've been designing in my head ever since I unboxed these beads. So let's start off with the 10mm beads that are in the box. The first one is apple green marble style glass. It's a pretty classic bead that you get in the curated bead box, and if you're a beginner, these beads are so great for doing little projects that aren't too expensive. So if you make a mistake or if you just need beads for your stash, it's great for that. And then this next bead is a crackle glass bead in 10mm, and I absolutely love it. This might be my favorite bead in the box. Actually, maybe it is. I just love this. My interior design background tells me that a green like this is a neutral. People think black, white, cream is a neutral bead, but green is as well. If you look in nature, green goes with everything. And I love the dimension of a crackle glass bead. You can just look deeply in it. It's almost like looking into a crackling fire, you know, into a flame, the way it dances and moves. I just have always loved a crackle glass bead. So we got a really this is just great, an 8-inch string of 10mm. Let me try that again. 10mm olive green crackle glass beads. I love those. And then this is our first gemstone bead. These are also 10mm, and it's a green malachite. And let's see, we got a 7 to an 8-inch string of this. I guess there might be some variables by a bead or so, but it is just beautiful. Really pretty rich color. It makes me think of my friend Gail, who I'm doing a beading play date with in a couple of weeks. She loves green, makes me think of her. And then this is also pretty common for the curated bead box. This is an 8mm, so we're going to go down to the 8mm strands, and this is a duo bead of green and red. It's a gemstone style glass bead, so it's kind of made to look like marble or like a stone with the veining and variegating in it. It's really beautiful. I am watching the trends for the autumn and winter season of 2024, and one of the things that I'm seeing is a pop of red, or red as an accent. So either as a piece of jewelry, a handbag, a red scarf. So I did in this video that I'm not sure which one of these will upload first, but both my autumn projects were happening today, and so this bead has that little bit of red in it, which is just right on trend. And then there are 2 of these strands. They're both 8mm. One is in a brown and green crackle glass, and this is a frosted bead. And then the other one is an aqua and orange crackle glass. 10-inch strands of these, and they are just beautiful. They're very satiny in your hand. They have a nice weight to them, and like these are the colors of autumn, the colors that, you know, the leaves change, and just I don't know, they're just perfect. So like I say, if you need beads for your stash, the curated bead box is the way to go. It's really inexpensive. It's a value box, and lately they have been mixing in some gemstones, which brings me to the next gemstone bead. This is an 8mm green aventurine. I cannot talk tonight. I guess I get really excited when my bead boxes are delivered because they just spark creativity. And when we're changing seasons too, this is like the way that I'm feeling. These beads, these colors, and they just make me happy, and I'm like thinking fresh designs. So, but this is a really beautiful bead. This is so soft and pretty. I love this bead. It's a pretty consistent strand too. There are a few that have some kind of some opaque white happening in them, but this is a beautiful strand, gemstone strand to play with. And then another gemstone bead. This is a 8mm jasper. And you know, this is just so earthy. It really is woodsy. It goes from black and gray into like some burgundies and some browns and a little bit of flashes of orange here and there. It is very earthy and very neutral. And like when I see this, I instantly think of gifts for men. They are so hard to make things for and shop for, at least the men in my life. And so like these are the perfect colors for the guys in your life. Bookmarkers are great. You know, leather bracelets are great. And this box does make me think of leather jewelry. I'll show you why as we go forward. This is another favorite of mine. So I know you've seen like the gold, silver, and now copper, and I love mixing those three metals. I love mixing gold and copper, but when you add in silver, it is just so beautiful. And I have some projects coming up where I just mixed all the metallics. So this makes me so happy in this box. This is a 6mm bronze drizzled glass bead. So if you look really closely, you can see the drizzle like under the bronze. It's so pretty. There's some variation. Those are beautiful right there. There's a little bit of variation. It's just beautiful. This looks like a pumpkin spice latte. It's just beautiful. So I love that. I mean, look how gorgeous. I'm already designing, but look how gorgeous that is with the green. And then let's see, I was also looking at it with this. Look how pretty this is with this. That is gorgeous together. That might be my first two beads that I grab to work with. I love that. And then up next is about a 1 ounce mix of this Harvest designer glass bead mix. And I mean, just look at this. This is jam-packed with cool beads. At first glance, so I'm going to set this down and grab a piece of wire. At first glance, this is a large hole bead. So if you are thinking leather, or if you're thinking multi-strand, this is perfect for a focal. Now all the mixes will be different, and it looks like in my mix I only got one of these. But look how stunning that is, and it's like the color of wheat. It just goes so great as a contrast for all these richer earthy colors. I just love that. And then in my mix I can see that I have 4 of these glass elongated beads. They are so pretty. Again, that color of wheat. And then look at these, you guys. These are so fabulous. I love dimensional jewelry, and I love making dangles. This looks like a chaton on this side, and it almost looks like a bicone on this side, but it has a drill hole going right through the middle. So you can do all kinds of, you know, creative things with your wire, or even just a jump ring and create dangles that way. And this is a bicone. Again, this has an AB finish on it, and it's in that Harvest color. Is my camera focusing? And then there is a whole bunch of these bronze bicones in my mix, which are truly autumnal. I love that. It's like that chocolate brown or the color of pine cones. Let's see what else is in here. Oh, these are beautiful. These are like a faceted lentil bead, and they are faceted on both sides, and they have that little hole like right at the top. So a lot of times with these, it's just super easy to just put a jump ring right through the top and create your dangles with that. There's another one of those. Let's see if I'm missing anything. Oh, this is cool. This is a little like disc bead, but it's got a little thickness to it, and it's also got the drill hole at the top with an AB finish. This little mix is just so much fun. I can get totally lost in a bead mix. It's like a treasure hunt. It's so beautiful. I even have some little seed beads in my mix. These are like an 8/0 seed bead. I just love this mix. I love a good bead mix. So beautiful. What is this? Oh, and oh, that same, I'm sorry, I'm like losing my, I'm like squirrel, I'm losing my train of thought because I just saw a smaller size of that crystal. It's the same as the larger one, but a much smaller scale. And oh, let's see, the hole goes that way. Look at that. So beautiful. So this is just so much fun, you guys. I just love a good bead mix. There's even a rondelle, crystal rondelle. I'll sort through and decide what I'm going to use in my project, but just beautiful. Even a random like stringing pattern with a mix like this can just be so beautiful. I know I showed you this one again, but that's so beautiful. Okay, on to the next thing. I love a good bead mix. And then up next is a 10 millimeter gold round iron bead. So these are 10 millimeter, they're gold, they're pretty weighty, but these have a ginormous hole. So you can happily fit almost any millimeter of leather that you would desire to work with through here, or multi-strands of Brazilian cord or polyester cord. These are just, we got a really good amount of those. And then loving the gold and silver mix, we have these 8 millimeter little beads that are filigree in silver. They're very lightweight. They don't weigh anything, and they're just beautiful. And I just love mixing gold, silver, and copper together. I think it makes all the metals stand out and highlighted. Look at that, just beautiful. I love that it's a filigree and then a smooth metal bead. That just looks great. They just punctuate each other like that. And then up next is a 14 by 10 millimeter silver luster faceted bicone bead. And again, this has the large hole bead. They are just wonderful for designing. Look at this. It's so beautiful. I just love the colors in that. So we got a nice little mix of that. You guys, I just realized that I have a washer going in the background, and I hope it's not distracting. I think I'm so used to it that I didn't hear it, and I'm recording like crazy, so forgive me that I didn't pause that. I think I sort of tuned it out, so I hope you're able to hear me and concentrate on the beads. I am so excited about getting my boxes that I kind of like jump right in, and that's what I did today. So this is a leaf that is luster electroplated, and it's just a beautiful metal pendant. It's a 26 by 20 millimeter leaf, so this could be a pendant. You could stack some beads above it, but it's a really, if you wanted to do a statement charm on a bracelet, it could be that. And you know, I look at a piece like this as also a connector, because you have a space here that you could put a jump ring or stringing material, and then here on this loop. And so if you wanted to make this the focal on an autumnal bracelet, you could totally do that. It doesn't have to be a pendant or a charm, with all of these cool openings to work with and create with. So don't overlook that. And then we got 2 of these silver metal pendants that are filigree, and they do look like the leaves when they're just extremely dry in nature and just about to crumble, like at that point right before they crumble, so fragile that you can't touch them. And they're thin, but they are pretty sturdy, and they are so detailed. I mean, this would make, since we got 2 of them, you could easily make a pendant. You could do something that's, make this the backdrop for something that's dangling down the middle. But if you like statement earrings, which bold jewelry is continuing into the fall and winter of 2024. It has been a trend all year. And so like a big bold statement earring or a chunky necklace or a bracelet, like the wide cuff bracelets have really been in style. So these are right on trend if you are a person that likes to wear a statement earring. You could do something simple here, add an ear wire, and bam, beautiful statement earrings, right on trend. And then this month's findings pack is in gold. They usually do gold or silver. I remember one time in recent years where they mixed gold and silver findings, and this little pack is also just great for beginners. There is memory wire in here, there's bead stringing wire, head pins, flat crimp beads, some stretch cord, some jump rings. I mean, I think they usually put some ear wires. I'm not going to open it, but you can pretty much try any type of designing with the findings pack that's in Curated Bead Box. So they always put a disclaimer on the box that they may substitute bead sizes because of availability, but you would still get the quantity that you would get in the box. So I am going to clean up my mat and come right back with a project. I have decided that my first piece is going to be with those beautiful green crackle beads and the red and green marble style glass beads. And look at this Brazilian waxed cord color. I just got this. I have done 1 or 2 projects with it, but I absolutely love it. And I went into my button collection, and this is a vintage acrylic button. I almost threw out some of the more lightweight buttons that I had in my stash, but I'm so glad I didn't, because look at this, you guys. It could not be more perfect. And look how it just brings out, let me put these in my hand. Look how it just brings out that beautiful red color in these beads. So that is my plan. That's going to be my closure. And what I did is took 2 lengths of this stringing material, and I would say they're about 2 30-inch lengths. I didn't measure. I kind of do this kind of thing with my heart, and I am going to fold them in half, just match up the ends, and I'm going to be working with 4 strands. So let me just find the center. I always do, not always, but most of the time I put my button on first and find the center as close as I can. And I'm just going to draw these together and just do an overhand knot. Just get it down to the button nice and tight. I love my knotting tweezers for this, but you don't have to have them. You can even use, your chain nose pliers, or if you have the Zuron crimping pliers, they have a really tiny tip. But I am a jewelry toolaholic, and tools just make it possible to just do such nice work. So my little button is on. I am using some Miyuki 80 seed beads. These are Duracoat galvanized, so they will not darken. They'll maintain their shininess. And I'm going to dot my pattern with these little seed beads. So I'm going to take 2 of my strands and feed them through this little seed bead. And for those of you who are not familiar with Brazilian waxed cord, I'm not starting off very well. It has a light coating of wax, so you can just pinch and twist. I might need to give myself a fresh cut, so I damaged my cord on the end. But you just pinch and twist. You can stiffen this with some super glue or some clear nail polish, but I never do, because that's the purpose of the wax. I just pinch and twist. You get a nice pointy, like needle-like shape. And I'll show you what's about to happen here. So I just took 2 of my 4 strands and fed them through a seed bead, and I'm just going to bring it down to my button, and right there I'm going to do an overhand knot and reach through that loop, and right where the cord is exiting the seed bead, pinch it with my tweezer, and when I pull, that knot lands perfectly in that spot. Perfect control of a knot. Like I said, you don't have to have a knotting tweezer for this design, but it makes life so much easier. Gives you perfect control. And I'm going to repeat the same thing. Put 1 seed bead through both cords, bring it down, overhand knot, and repeat. Reach through the loop, get a hold of the cord, and when I pull, my knot goes exactly where I want it. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in another tool that a jewelry toolaholic would have. It is the Bead-A-Lawn tying station. Now it's a little bit long for the camera. You do not have to have this to, if you like this project and you want to do this, but it makes life a lot easier. It comes with all of these little plates, so you can make whatever sandwich you need for your project. And I particularly love this with this spongy plate when I have a check glass or a crystal button, or if I've started a knotting design with a glass bead. It really is great for that. So I am just going to fit my button in here, and I'm gonna leave my knots where I need to be able to see them, leave those kind of poking over the edge of that plate, and I'm just gonna press down and get my wing nut in here and tighten this down, and then I'll be able to kind of tug on these cords for my beading pattern without damaging my button. And I can see my knots right there. So I'm going to play with a little pattern here. Oh, we are having a storm. I don't know if you heard my Alexa notification, but it's thundering and really stormy outside. But as long as we have electricity and internet, I'm going to keep going. So I'm going to take 2 of those strands and feed my bead, one of my beads, down to the cord. I feel like I need to see this a little bit better before I start knotting. Let me just pull this a little bit. That's better. Okay. And here I am going to also take these 2 strands and add a red and green marble bead to this side. So at this point, I'm just playing with what I want to do, and I think that I want to do a knot on past each one. So my first one is going to be a little tricky since I have it under the tying station. In fact, let me do these first 2 without it being secured down. It'll be a little bit easier. So I'm just going to repeat that same thing. And what I love about this is, as I was saying, this pop of red is a really big trend, and I love pulling out the red marbling in this bead, and so my cord becomes my spacer on this design. So it's adding dimension and texture, and I love Brazilian wax cord. It's, if not my favorite way to string, at least my top 2 or 3 favorite ways. And there are lots of jewelry techniques, but I just absolutely love the way that looks. And when the piece is done, you'll see this just flows around the body. It's a soft, fluid, very comfortable and beautiful bracelet to wear. So my idea now is to take one of my strands here and one of my strands here. So I'm back to 2 again, and I'm going to add a seed bead and both strands just the way that I started out, and then one of my green crackle beads and another seed bead, and bring that down. Don't want to get it tangled up. Oh, my other seed bead didn't slide down. I have it here. Always when you start knotting or stringing, always your first few are a little bit to manage because you have all these strands. So I'm going to, now let's see if I want to separate here or do a knot. And I think I'm going to try, see what it looks like if I just separate the strands. I might need a knot above and below. I think that's what I'm going to do. So here I'm going to put a knot right about there. Is that what I want to do? Let me have a look. I am going to do knots. I'm going to do an overhand knot, and on this project I think the knotting tweezer really will be invaluable because I will not have a bead to guide me on these knots. I'm going to grab that thread right where the end, almost to the end. I'm looking at this space right here on my thread, and I want to leave about the same right there and pull. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So I'm really making like a little cage for those crackle glass beads. And I don't even know if I'm going to need the tying station. If I continue like this, I will probably be okay without securing one end of my cord. Let me do a few more and see. So I'm going to continue stringing and knotting until I get to my desired length. This will be my pattern of basically, it's a strange braid because I'm making sort of a 3-strand bracelet using 4 strands. It's a little bit strange, but I think it's cool. So I'm going to do that. Get this bead right about the same as the other one with that cord space. Overhand knot. So I decided to do about this 2/3 of the way with this look of netting and exposing my beautiful burgundy red cord, and then I finished off with a knot like I was doing, and then one of those 8/0 seed beads, and then I switched to a 6/0 seed bead, same gold, same galvanized Duracoat, and I was able to get all 4 strands through the 6/0 seed bead and through that green crackle glass. So I'm just transitioned like that, and this bracelet is absolutely stunning. But I just like changing, I like changing it up. I could have continued with my sort of netting look. When I get all done, I'm gonna really pull these and tighten all the knots and make sure that I like the way it's sitting. But I'm gonna continue now in this way, like just getting all 4 cords through a 6/0 seed bead. At least the ones that I have, it's no problem. I did not need to stiffen the ends. It's just something I don't take the time to do. But I'm going to continue like this for the rest of the length of my bracelet, and I'm doing a knot in between with all 4 cords, and that just looks really good. It gives that little pop of red in between the beads. Just looks great. So I'm going to fit all the cords through the green bead. The last one is a little tricky, but it does go. There we go. And same thing that I've been doing, just an overhand knot, reach inside my loop and get all 4 cords where it's coming out of that 6/0 bead, and pull, and then pull my tweezer out and then tighten my knot down. And I'm going to continue like that with this fun little pattern of 6/0 green crackle, 6/0 knot until I get to my desired length. Okay, I have my desired length, and normally I would do something with seed beads and make a loop here that's going to go around the button, but I'm going to do something a little bit differently on this one. I am just going to do some random seed beads on all 4 cords and just kind of bundle these cords together. Just let these beads float and just do what they will. And I'm going to do, let's see, I have one on there. I'm just going to do some knots for my loop. So like so, I'm just going to like bundle these up, and I'm going to make a little bundle here and do an overhand knot and do that same thing again, and then I'm going to tie this whole bit into a loop that is the right size to go around the button, just for texture and dimension and uniqueness. I think it's going to be really pretty, so I'm going to do that same thing. Just grab a little seed bead for each strand. It is a dark and stormy night here, and perfect night for making jewelry, listening to the rain and the thunder. So I am just going to keep going as long as the internet holds out and the power. And also, let's see, I've grabbed this, I missed a loop. Okay, I did not end up using my tying station, but it is a really nice tool to have, especially if you like to work with multi-strands. So I did these little kind of floating seed beads with knots in between, and now my plan is to just make a loop right here. I'm going to test it out before I commit and tighten the knot down. And when I make my seed bead loops like this, I usually just keep knotting until I'm happy with the thickness here. So I just need this loop to go over, slide over this button. So like I said, I'll get a hold of everything and make sure it's easy to slide on and off. And I'm just going to get a knot in there. So like I said, I just keep knotting around until I'm happy with the thickness and the look. I'm going to tighten it, and I will use a little bit of beader's glue on that knot before I trim away. If I trim away, sometimes I make this into like a little bit of fringiness at the end of my bracelets. Sometimes I'll string beads on. I decide when I'm all done. I tie it really tight and decide when I'm all done if I'm happy with it. That looks amazing. And I'm just going to bring in a little bit of my GS Hypo Cement and maybe even one more knot if I can get it in here, just to get all of these cords in one bundle again. Then I can decide if I want to make fringe or what I want to do. Just a little bit of glue in my final knot here. And definitely here. Okay, and I am just going to let that dry, and then I'm going to trim this away, and I think I'm going to just make some fringe. And the nice thing, I always say that when you're like doing fringe or whatever, if you don't like the way it looks, you can always trim it close and let it have a, you know, nice clean knotted finish. But I'm just going to come in with my tweezer and separate all those fibers and make a little fringiness here. I always say that and I wonder, is that a word? Fringiness? I like it. Okay, that is such a pretty closure and such a beautiful, unique bracelet. I just love it. And so I am going to clean up my mat, and I will put some close-up pictures of this at the end. And I laid these two strands out here because I think that's going to be my next project. I love the copper with the orange and turquoise, and I may even add in some gold so that I can stack that bracelet with this bracelet. So I thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check the description box of this video. That is where you will find links to everything that I've used, and also my discount code for Curated Bead Box. And you can always go back on the website with the codes that are on the box and buy more of the beads with this company as well. So I thank you so much for watching. I hope everybody is safe and well and having fun on your beading mats. Ciao, jewelry making friends.